The Changeling by Charlotte Mew, 1869 to 1928. Toll no bell for me, dear father, dear mother. Waste no sighs, there are my sisters, there is my little brother who plays in the place called Paradise. Your children all, your children forever, but I so wild, your disgrace with the queer brown face was never, never I know, but half your child. In the garden at play all day last summer, far and away I heard the sweet tweet tweet of a strange newcomer, the dearest, clearest call of a bird. It lived down there in the deep green hollow, my own old home, and the fairies say the word of a bird is a thing to follow, so I was away for a night and a day. One evening too, by the nursery fire, we snuggled close and sat round so still, when suddenly, as the wind blew higher, something scratched on the window sill. A pinched brown face peered in. I shivered. No one listened or seemed to see. The arms of it waved and the wings of it quivered. Woo! I knew it had come for me. Summer as bad can be. All night long they danced in the rain, round and round in a dripping chain, threw their caps at the window pane, tried to make me scream and shout, and fling the bedclothes all about. I meant to stay in bed that night, and if only you had left a light, they would never have got me out. Sometimes I would speak, you see, or answer when you spoke to me, because in the long, still dusks of spring you can hear the whole world whispering. The shy green grasses making love, the feathers grow on the dear grey dove, the tiny heart of the redstart beat, the patter of the squirrel's feet, the pebbles pushing in the silver streams, the rushes talking in their dreams, the swish, swish of the bat's black wings, the wild wood bluebells, sweet ding-dong-dings, humming and hammering at your ear, everything there is to hear in the heart of hidden things. But not in the midst of the nursery riot, that's why I wanted to be quiet. Couldn't do my sums or sing or settle down to anything. And when for that I was sent upstairs, I did kneel down to say my prayers. But the king who sits on your high church steeple has nothing to do with us fairy people. Times I pleased you, dear father, dear mother, learned all my lessons and liked to play, and dearly I loved the little pale brother, whom some other bird must have called away. Why did they bring me here to make me not quite bad and not quite good? Why, unless they're wicked, do they want in spite to take me back to their wet wild wood? Now every night I shall see the window shining, the gold lamps glow and the fire's red gleam, while the best of us are twining twigs, and the rest of us are whining in the hollow by the stream. Black and chill are their nights on the wold, and they live so long and they feel no pain. I shall grow up but never grow old. I shall always be very cold. I shall never come back again. Okay, this is a poem by Charlotte Mew. Let's see, Charlotte Mew was an English poet who was born and brought up in Bloomsbury in London. She came from a fairly wealthy family. I think she had problems with her sanity. She was greatly admired by Thomas Hardy and by Virginia Woolf and by Siegfried Sassoon as well. She's a poem who who goes between the Victorian era and the modernist era. She's between the two. So, what's this poem about? Well, firstly, we need to look at the title. The title is The Changeling. Now, a changeling is a baby who the fairies substitute their own baby, a fairy baby who looks the same, for a human baby. And they take the fairies take the human baby with them, and the changeling is the child that is left behind. And this poem is about a child who thinks or who feels or is convinced that they are a changeling, and that they have been put there by the fairies instead of their real self. And that this poem is about belonging or not belonging, not about not feeling part of society, not being part of the group, not feeling one of the group, feeling out. And I think maybe in many ways this echoes how Charlotte Mew felt, because I think her sexuality did not align with what was acceptable at the time, because I think she liked women, and maybe this poem is echoing her feelings of not being part of the society that she lives in. Being different in a world that doesn't understand you, that doesn't accept her uniqueness or one's uniqueness. And this poem is told from the point of view of the child. Toll no bell for me, dear father, dear mother, waste no sighs. So if and when I die, father and mother, don't worry. I've gone. It's not a problem. You don't have to pretend that you miss me. There are my sisters. There is my little brother who plays in the place called Paradise. So there are still all of my sisters. And there's even my little brother who I think is dead. My little brother has died. He's in Paradise. Your children all, your children forever. But I so wild, your disgrace with the queer brown face was never, never I know but half your child. So if I disappear, mother and father, don't toll the bells, don't be unhappy. Because look, you've still got all of my sisters, and there's also even my little brother who, yes, he's died, but he's gone to heaven. And these were all your children forever. But me, I know I'm different. I was the disgrace with a strange brown face, and I was only half your child. I was only adopted after the fairies swapped me for my real self. So I never really belonged. I was never really your child. And this is clearly showing that this child does not feel part of the society. The child feels different, and clearly they feel that they don't belong. In the garden at play all day last summer, far and away I heard the sweet tweet tweet of a strange newcomer, the dearest, clearest call of a bird. So last summer when I was in the garden playing, I heard this bird tweeting, tweet, 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 and it was a strange bird. It lived down there in the deep green hollow, my own old home, and the fairies say the word of a bird is a thing to follow, so I was away a night and a day. And this bird, it was down there in a green hollow. This bird was from the place where the fairies lived, and the fairies say that you've got to follow a bird. So the child followed this bird, and for a night and a day, the child was away with the fairies. So I don't know if the child disappeared for a night and a day running after the bird, but clearly for a brief period the child was in the realm of the fairies. The child followed the call of the fairies and was in another world. Maybe this could signify many things. Maybe the child was ill. Maybe the child disappeared and was lost for 24 hours. Who knows? One evening too, by the nursery fire, we snuggled close and sat round so still, when suddenly, as the wind blew higher, something scratched on the window-sill. And there's one evening she remembers they're all sitting round the nursery fire and they're all close together. And suddenly there's something scratching on the windowsill. There's something outside, something scratching. A pinched brown face peered in. I shivered. And there she could see this tight little brown face looking in. And she was shivered, she was terrified. No one listened or seemed to see. And what's even stranger is none of her sisters noticed it. So this is a supernatural visit. She's being visited by a fairy, but nobody else notices it. And the speaker, she's frightened by this, but nobody else saw it. The arms of it waved and the wings of it quivered. I knew it had come for me. And this fairy creature, this supernatural creature, had come for her. Some are as bad can be, and some of these supernatural creatures are really bad things. And I think that here the fairies are now calling her out. All night long they danced in the rain, round and round in a dripping chain. They threw their caps at the window pane and fling the bedclothes all about. And all night the fairy people are dancing round and round in the rain, telling me to come out. They'd come for me. They wanted me to go with them. And they were throwing their hats at the window pane. This to me sounds like the sound of the rain hitting the window. They threw their caps at the window pane, tried to make me scream and shout and fling the bedclothes all about. So now she's gone to bed and she can hear them. She can hear the fairies outside. And the child is having a nightmare about the fairies outside. The fairies have come for her. I meant to stay in bed that night, and if only you had left a light, they would never have got me out. So the child is saying that she wanted to stay, but she couldn't. If only there had been a light, she would have stayed in bed, but she didn't stay in bed. She got out of bed and went with the fairies again. Sometimes I would speak, you see, or answer you when you spoke to me. So sometimes I would be like a normal child. I would sometimes connect with you. I would answer you. Because in the long still dusks of spring, you can hear the whole world whispering. Okay, no, this is different. So sometimes I would speak, you see, or answer when you spoke to me. Now the question is, who is you? And I think you is the supernatural world. You is the fairy folk. Because in the long still dusks of spring, you can hear the whole world whispering. And so sometimes the supernatural world would speak to her, and I would answer the supernatural world, because when the sun is going down in spring, you can hear the whole world whispering. You can hear everything, that she's in a world that is not part of her family. She's in a world connected to nature. The shy green grasses making love, the feathers grow on thy dear grey dove. So she can feel nature, she's connected with nature, she can hear the grass rubbing over each other. She can hear the feathers growing on the birds. The tiny heart of the redstart beats, so she can hear the beating heart of a redstart. The patter of the squirrel's feet, so she can hear the squirrel's feet. The pebbles pushing in the silver streams. The rushes talking in their dreams. The swish swish of the bat's black wings. So she can hear the stones in the river. She can hear the rushes, the dreams of the rushes. She can hear the wings of the bat. The wild wood bluebells, sweet ting ting. So she can hear the bluebells ringing. Okay, bluebells are part of spring as well. So she can hear all of these sounds of nature. And she's aware of all of these wonders from the natural world. Humming and hammering at your ear, everything is there to hear in the heart of hidden things. So all of these sounds are there. You can hear all of these things of nature, but not in the midst of the nursery riot. But you can't hear all of these beautiful things of nature in the nursery, in the chaos of the nursery, in the children running around. That's why I wanted to be quiet. That's why I wanted to find a quiet place. That's one of the reasons why I didn't like it, because in the nursery, because there was just too much noise and I couldn't hear all of these beautiful natural things. And I didn't belong to the nursery riot. I belonged to nature. I was part of nature. Couldn't do my sums or sing or settle down to anything. And I was thinking about nature. I'm trying to hear nature, and that's why I'm not part of your world. I couldn't do my mass. I couldn't sing. I couldn't settle down. And when for that I was sent upstairs, so when I didn't do what I was supposed to do in the world of humans, I was sent upstairs, and I would kneel down and say my prayers. But the king who sits on your high church steeple has nothing to do with us fairy people. So she's been sent upstairs to say her prayers, but she kneels down and says them. But the problem is that the God of human beings, the God of the church, is not, it has nothing to do with the fairies, that she is a fairy, that this is not her God, that this is not, she is not part of the human world. She is completely different. Times I pleased you, dear father, dear mother, learned all my lessons and liked to play. So from time to time, I connected with you. I learned all my lessons. I was a good child. I wanted to be a good child, but the problem was I was different. And dearly I loved the little pale brother whom some other bird must have called away. And I loved my little brother. Or I think this little brother perhaps is the person that was taken away by the fairies, the real me, whom some other bird must have called away. So the real me has gone. Why did they bring me here to make me not quite bad and not quite good? So why did the fairies bring me here? Why are they making me? Because I'm not quite a good person. I'm not quite a bad one. Why, unless they're wicked? Maybe they did it because they want me to suffer. Wicked. Do they want, in spite, to take me back to their wet, wild wood? Look at the alliteration here. Wet, wild wood. So why do they want to take me back? Why do they want to take me back to the wet woods? Why do they want me to go back if they put me here? Why do they now want me back? Now every night I shall see the window shining. And now she's imagining she's one of the fairies, and she's looking in at the house from outside. And she can see the window shining, the lamp's gold glow and the fire's red gleam, while the best of us are twining twigs, the rest of us are whining in the hollow by the stream. So she's looking in, and they are the fairies are looking in, and they're looking in on the family, and now she's imagining her life as a fairy. In the hollow by the stream, black and chill, are there nights on the wold. Okay, the wold is on the hills. So now she's whining in the hollow by the stream, and they're cold nights outside, and they live so long and they feel no pain. So the fairies live for a long time and they don't feel any pain. I shall grow up but never grow old. So I will grow up, but I'm going to live for a very long time. I shall always be very cold, and I shall never come back again. So now she's emphasizing that her connection with the fairies, and the fact that she's different from the rest of the family. She's not the same person. She's a changeling. And this poem, it's about belonging. It's about alienation. It's about feeling different, about not fitting in, about being different from the rest of the world. So, The Changeling by Charlotte Mew.